Anyway, this is a song about a sailing school. You know, you sometimes wonder how a man got to go to sea. These days you go to study, you get your papers, you get the Coast Guard approval. But in the old days you couldn't do that. You might start as a cabin boy, work your way up. Maybe your father was a sailor. But if you were a country boy and had this itch to go see exotic lands and meet beautiful women and have adventure, you might wander into Liverpool on Great Howard Street and find Paddy West's house. Paddy West was a boarding house keeper, and he would get young men jobs on ships. He'd put them through a course. Out in his backyard, he had a piece of rope. He had an old table with a cow horn on it. Well, that rope was called a line. So was the equator called a line. And that horn, well, that's like Cape Horn, one of the toughest passages a sailor could make. And he'd put the men through this course, and this song tells about it. Don't try this at home, though. As I was walking down London Road, I come to Paddy West's house. He gave me a dish of American hash, and he called it Liverpool scouse. He says there's a ship that's wanting hands, and honour you'll quickly sign. Her maid is a bastard, her boatswain's worse, but she'll just suit you fine. Take off your dungaree jacket and give yourself a rest, and we'll think of them cold nor'westers that we've had at Paddy West. Now when I finished to feed me boys, the wind come on to blow, and he sent me up in the attic, the main royal fore to stow. But when I got up in the attic, no main royal could I find. So I turned around to the window and I furled the window blind. Take off your dungaree jacket and give yourself a rest, and we'll think of them cold nor'westers that we've had at Paddy West. Then Mary called on hands on deck, the stations for to man, and his wife stood in the doorway with a bucket in her hand. And Paddy sings out, now let her rip, and she flung the water her way, saying, clew up your fort, a Gansel's lad she's taken in the spray. Take off your dungaree jacket and give yourself a rest, and we'll think of them cold nor'westers that we've had at Paddy West. Now seeing we're off to the starboard, boys, to Frisco we was bound. Oh, Paddy called for a length of rope and he laid it on the ground. We all stepped over and back again, and he says to me, that's fine. Now when they ask, was you ever to sea, you can say you've crossed the line. Take off your dungaree jacket and give yourself a rest, and we'll think of them cold nor'westers that we've had at Paddy West. There's only one thing for you to do before you sail away. That's to step around the table with the bullocks on delay. And when they ask, was you ever to sea, you can say 10 times round the horn, and but Jesus, you're an old sailor since the day that you was born. So put on your dungaree jacket and walk up looking your best, and just tell me you're an old sailor man that's come from Paddy West. Thank you very much. Jerry was talking about these old sailor songs and the miserable things that happened to sailors, and how, well, we don't know how many were true and how many were made up. But oftentimes a sailor would go out to sea, he'd come home and look for what he hadn't found. 3 months, 10 months, whatever. Women, drink, a nice warm place to stay. And he had a little money in his pocket for a little while. Now, as in the song Jerry sang about the New York girls, they took the guy's money, they took his clothes, there he was. But a sailor, and down his luck, sometimes could get a job in another ship. You know, easy come, easy go. But once in a while, a man would find himself without his money, without his watch, without his boots. He needed to go to sea, and he'd have to go to a boarding house master, a crimp. And this man would take his advance pay in return for getting him a berth on a ship. Now, that advance pay was money you got to outfit yourself with your hard-weather gear. Now, if you had all this gear, fine, no problem, you could afford it. If you didn't have it, it got pretty cold out at sea. You could get clothes, but you'd have to pay off the ship when you came back, and you could end up owing money after a voyage. But what's even worse, if you got signed onto a whaler. A regular sailor would go out, he'd get a regular amount of pay. Small, but he'd get paid. On a whaler, you get paid a percentage, a lay. You didn't know what it was going to be. You didn't know how long it was going to take. You could be out for 6 months or 3 years. And I'm going to finish up with this story of a young man who found himself on a whaler. When first I landed in Liverpool, I went upon the spree. Me money at last I spent it fast, got drunk as drunk could be. And when me money it was all gone, it was then that I'd wanted more. But a man must be blind to make up his mind to go to sea once more. I spent that night with Angeline, too drunk to roll in bed. Me watch was new and me money too. In the morning with them she'd fled, and west of the streets about the whores they all did roar. Here comes Jack Sprat, the poor sailor lad, he must go to sea once more. As I was a-walking down the street, I met with Rappa Brown. I asked him for to take me in, and he looked at me with a frown. He says, last time you was paid up with me at Chuck no score, but I'll take your advance, I'll give you a chance, and I'll send you to sea once more. He shipped me aboard of a whaling ship, all bound for the Arctic seas, with his ice and snow and them cold winds blow, and Jamaica rum would freeze. And worse to bear, I no hard with the gear, for I left all me money ashore. 'Twas then that I'd wished that I was dead, so I'd go to sea no more. Now sometimes we're catching of whales, me boys, sometimes we're catching none, with a 20-foot oar stuck in your hand from 4 o'clock in the morn. And when the shades of night come on, we rest on our weary oar. 'Twas then that I'd wished that I was dead, or safe with the girls on shore. So come on, you bold seafaring men who listen to me song, and when you come off of them long, long trips, I'd have you no go wrong. Just take my advice and drink no strong drink, don't go sleeping with no whore, but get married, lads, have all night in, and go to sea no more. Thank you very much.